How many of you have seen a woman turning the ups and downs of her life into beautiful comedy? Very rare, right? I think the most I can relate to is the marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon Prime Video, but that's recorded because actually it's not that easy because I'm very bad at cracking jokes. The most I can do is Hati or CTK jokes. But today it's not about me. Today it's about the superhero mommy whose comedy leaves everyone in splits. She's an IT professional by the day. She's a stand-up comic by the night, and over the weekends, she's a mommy 24 cross 7. So basically, she's a one-woman startup running on punchlines and a lot of chaos. So hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Renaissance with Swati. And today I have with me a phenomenal woman, Sushma Chitta, who's the queen of punchlines, a brilliantly funny, most probably sleep deprived, and a brilliant stand-up comedian. Thank you, Sushma, for coming on my podcast.
Thank you so much, Swati, for all the wonderful words and compliments. I would like to compliment you. You are starting this podcast, you are curating it from scratch, and it's not very easy. It's very, very difficult, and you are also balancing motherhood and an IT job. So, kudos to you as well.
We are all sailing in the same boat.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Sushma, let's start with your journey. So, hailing from Hyderabad, working in an IT company, ServiceNow, how and when did stand-up comedy start?
Stand-up comedy happened to me when I was most burnt out in life. I was taking care of my 3-year-old and my IT job. And I needed something in my life to convert that frustration. I wanted to channelize the frustration of, oh, Abhi, this is only my life. Circling around the ID job and home, and I'm working from home. So I needed to change that perspective, and I wanted to go out in the weekends and do something very productive, not cafe hopping, not meeting friends, and all that. I wanted to do something different. So before I did stand up comedy, I was always in the comedy genre. Like I used to create comic strips, and I did that for 8 years. And not consistently, but for work and for fun. And when I joined my current company, ServiceNow, I created more aggressively. Like I created comic strip videos for my 1 year at ServiceNow, how my journey as a technical writer is. And then I started doing day in the life videos. I started picking roles which are very niche roles and are not known to so many in the industry, in the corporate industry, what a UX designer does, or what an executive assistant does, or what a program manager does. So I would meet people in a podcast like this, in an interview like this, virtual interview, get details from them, and curate that video. And then 2023, one fine evening for us, AI came into picture, and what I was doing took me like 40 hours of effort minimum, and that was done in less than 3 minutes. And I was not happy about it. I wanted to change that game. And then I realized maybe I should try stand up comedy. This was always there that I had to try, but I didn't know how and when and how will it will transform and things like that. So, for an internal event in my organization for women, they asked if somebody wants to do something and talk about something. Then I said I can do stand up comedy for 15 minutes. Not done that before, but I would want to try. What better space, right? In a group full of women, it's such a safe space. And I tried. I did a set on parenting. I called it parenting. I did a wordplay. It was all about my rant on parenting journey. And
Nice.
15 minutes turned into 45 minutes, and people loved. I healed. And then I thought I should start doing open mics. And because the journey of a stand up comic is not very easy, you need to
Okay.
consistently try for you to get opportunities, because there's so many stand up comics in the market, there's so many events happening, and each person's journey is different, and each person's forte is different. How I do will be very different compared to the next stand up comic.
Right.
So I started exploring the skill, because you need to write for every set, every occasion. So I started working on my jokes, working on the punchlines. And when I entered open mics, I realized you just get 3 minutes for someone newcomer. 3 minutes is a less time to crack something, because my comedy is slow. Like I build a story, and then comes the wit, then comes the punchline. So I decided to include musical comedy, change lyrics of the songs, make it into parodies, and always wanted to sing. So that's how I turned stand up comedy into stand up musical comedy.
Wow, stand-up musical comedy. That's what sets you apart.
Yes.
So, like you mentioned, your first gig was on Pay Ranting. Would you like to tell few lines from that Pay Ranting?
Yes, sure. So I started my gig by saying, "Hello, everyone. I'm here to rant about my parenting journey." That's why I'm calling this parenting. If you are a new parent, you will totally relate to this. And if you are planning to have kids, then I'm setting a disclaimer. This is not to discourage you. This is just to shape your future. And my parenting journey started as an imposter syndrome and ended up in a Stockholm syndrome. And me and my husband are CEOs of the house, and we report to a CEO who's my daughter. She basically rules our life. A little bit about that. So, started something on that note.
Right, that's beautiful. You've mentioned that your company has always been very supportive. So even now you're in the women forum, right?
So there's several women forums, and this is a small women forum that is for a niche group, experience org. We have events once in a quarter. We meet up as a team. We like to do something different. We like to hear from the individual contributors. We like to hear from the women themselves, like how women have overcome their challenges. It could be
Okay.
anything, not just limited to professional. It could be a personal challenge that they've overcome, and how it can uplift other women within the room and outside the room. And not all stories are success stories, because we need to also highlight failure stories. Success stories are always spoken about. What
Of
about the
course.
failure? Where will you get that platform for? So these platform is for everyone who wants to share their story, whether it's a success or a failure. Because I'm an open mic person, so I like to organize those. It can be a kickstart for them to explore this into a bigger audience and go above and beyond and do it
Nice.
for other open mics and things like that. If somebody likes to sing but is very hesitant and does only at house parties, we are providing that safe space where they can come and sing, that they can come play an instrument, they can come share their poetry. Because I found most poets very introverts. They want to keep that material to themselves or publish it in a book, not go onto the mic and share that poetry, because not everybody understands poetry. But I want to break that barrier, give them that platform. So I'm doing
Nice.
several such things with the team. So very excited for that as well.
So you mentioned that you started with just taking a mic in your hands in your office. So how did you transition from the office to a actual open mic?
The actual open mic was very different, because you don't know the audience, and you will never know the audience who's coming to your show. And probably they will come, probably they will not. And this was the first open mic that I attended during the weekdays. Later, I started attending the ones during the weekends. So, weekdays, the crowd is less. And even if there are two, three tickets sold, you still have that open mic. And I went ahead by thinking audience is very sweet. First few open mics, even though they didn't have that facial expressions, I just intuition in me that yes, they're going to be very sweet. They're going to listen to you. So the first open mic was very welcoming. There were three, four audiences in the room, and then my full gang of family and friends. Because I had them in the room, it gave me a lot of boost. And confidence has always been my key. I can go onto the stage and talk, and I thankfully don't have stage fear. I do have some stage fear when I'm going and talking to a bigger audience. Will I
Right.
forget the joke? Will I fumble? Or will I forget the lyric that I've written? All that is there. But there are a lot of distractions in an open mic. And because there was my family and that intuition in mind, I did that. But for the other open mics that happen during the weekend, you have a crowd mixed with poets, musicians, storytellers who know the craft.
Okay.
For them, stand up comedy is a little different, because most of them think humor is very difficult to crack. And
Okay.
if you're making somebody laugh, then it's the most difficult. And because I come from a forte of clean comedy, and they're not used to seeing women doing this. Thankfully, there have been incidents where the audience has been very reciprocative, very welcoming. But at the same time, when I started doing shows, ticketed shows, if there's a lineup of artists and I'm the only female, seeing a lot of men resist their laughter, not laugh completely, like go in a blank mode, judge. Probably they're judging, I don't know. But have this blank face, okay, now do I laugh to this? What is happening? Things like that have also happened. Sometimes people come up to me after the show and say, "Oh, your set was really good." And I ask them, "Oh, then why didn't you laugh?" They were like, "We were actually taken aback. We didn't expect a female stand up comic to come and perform." So that sometimes feels nice that they didn't expect, but I want people to see this as a comedy, not gender specific roles. That's when they can be more free and they can be themselves and laugh at the content that is being shared on the stage.
Nice. So I've seen some of your gigs. One of your gigs that I have seen is about the work from home because we all feel that work from home is a liberty. We are free. We can do everything. But in reality, it is the opposite. We are the most busiest people on the earth, and nobody values that. So you created a gig on that, right?
Yes, that was one of my second sets that I did for my first open mic. And that was the set that I had to do it in 3 minutes. And I eventually built on that. Work from home warm, I did that in several languages because I do it in English, in Hindi, and Telugu. And work from home is something where you never have boundaries. No boundaries, no matter how much you draw the boundaries, they're constantly being erased by your family members. Somebody rings the doorbell for a courier, OTP, and things like that. And because I had to do that gig in 3 minutes, I included this musical comedy. And it is a setup where I talk about my daughter. The minute I decide today I'm going to be so focused and finish all my tasks and be the most productive, तभी कुछ होना है. And you've heard a lot of actresses and actors saying, I'm God's favorite child and I'm Destiny's favorite child. This is in my destiny. मुझे लगता है Murphy's favorite child. Murphy's law सुना है ना? जिस दिन हम लोग काम करने बैठते हैं उसी दिन कुछ ना कुछ उल्टा होने वाला है. उसी दिन काम वाली बाई नहीं आएगी, उसी दिन कुक नहीं आएगा, उसी दिन my daughter will resist going to school and she will stay at home. And usi din ek important meeting rahega where you'll have to present. So the scene is all about she interrupting me constantly and she's starting to cry and my patience is waning. My patience is waning. Is this entertaining? And the next line is yeah, but she goes yeah. And then I'm calming her down. Baby, calm down, calm down. Bolne de sunne de meri baat thoda to calm down, calm down. And then the associates on the other end of the Zoom, they say, Sushma isko de chocolate, biscuit, jo bhi ye mangti hai, fatak se kar de to blink it, blink it. And then I wrap it up by saying that this is one of the most difficult tasks, and most women prefer to do work from home because they can accomplish so many tasks at one time. And I'm here to break that myth. If you can, don't ever multitask. Just do one task at a time and save some sanity for yourself. Have that sanity, keep that sanity alive. So in the end, I give a tribute to all the women, and I do this no matter what the occasion is, not just on Women's Day, because we women are doing so many roles. We're wearing multiple hats, doing so many roles. So in the end, I end the gig by singing a rap. There's this song by David Guetta. Hey mama, mama, hey mama, mama. So I tweak those lyrics and it goes, yes, I do the cooking, yes, I do the cleaning, yes, I do the picking, yes, I do the dropping, I do play dates, I do birthdays, I go Zumba, I work from home too. She is clingy, very cranky. She is only 5 years old, girl. You really drive like down, I like to write the songs that she plays. I wanna hear her calling my name like, hey mama, mama, hey mama, mama. So this became my signature. Wherever I go, people would say, just sing that song in the end and end it.
That's so beautiful. Your voice is so beautiful. The lyrics are so beautiful. You're really a poet, right? I mean, stand-up comedy is nothing less compared to poetry.
It rhymes less, and lot of writing goes into it and lot of changes. If you've written one script on the stage, it transforms into something different.
I also saw a gig where you talked about your husband, the SEO gig, right? Search engine
Yes.
optimization.
So that was for an award ceremony where I won an award and they asked me to do a gig. It was planned that they wanted me to do a gig and they gave me like about 20 to 30 minutes. And depending on the crowd was mostly corporate in their mid 30s or and above. And most of them are married and it's a woman centric event where women are getting awards. So they all could relate to this. I wanted to have a script in mind where most women who are married can relate to this. Like most men, and I feel especially after their marriage, they fail to look for things. चलना छोड़ना बीवी तो
मेरा
वैसे
चश्मा
भी
कहाँ है?
चश्मा मेरा फोन है हाथ में मेरा फोन का है we those things we also do. Those socks they will never find, though their ties that they'll never find, and things like that. And my husband's search engine capabilities are really off. So I started by saying search engine optimization because that was the most keyword, the most
Right.
happening word at that time.
Right.
And then I said I can tip this to that product management scenario in the corporate world. So in a product company, you go and tell the product owner, right, the manager, that there is a bug in your product. The product manager here is my mother-in-law who created that product. And I told her, why is the search engine optimization of your product so weak? And because she's Bihari, I mimicked a little bit about her. अरे दुल्हन ऐसा थोड़ी ना है वो तो ऐसा नहीं था पहले शादी के बाद बदला है एंड आई एम थिंकिंग कि शादी के बाद मुझे तो ऑटो अपग्रेड मिलना चाहिए ये क्या हो गया डिफेक्टेड डिफेक्ट में प्रोडक्ट में डिफेक्ट क्यों है एंड देन I am the bug. I realized later that she's trying to tell me that I am that defect, and I built that on that, and most people in the audience didn't expect me to mimic my mother, and that too that Bihari accent. Me being a Telugu and doing that,
Right.
that's where people connected, and they were like, "Oh wow, this is something new."
That's
Mimicking is
beautiful.
another thing
That's
that goes
beautiful.
into something. Thank you, Swati.
So, like you create gigs on your family, right? On your daughter, on your husband. How do they react? How does your daughter react, or how does your
Not
husband react?
not well, not at
Both
all
of
well.
them. Both of them.
Both of both of them. Husband तो
Okay.
फिर भी ठीक है, he is like yeah चल छोड़ना क्या फर्क पड़ता है, but my daughter is very particular. And if I'm taking her to the event, then I prep the audience. I tell them, the minute I talk about her, don't look at her. I do that also. And they are also, at the corner of their eye looking at her, and then they're like, okay, she's talking about her, and she doesn't like it. She's like, why are you talking about me? You need to talk about yourself. And you can't use me as a content. Even though she's a 5 years old, I feel she's very matured. She's like that teenager. And I started doing this when she was 3 years old. So I used to often say that I have a teenager at home. Sorry, I meant a teenager at home, a 3 year old who behaves like a teenager. And she still does. She's like a 15-year-old now. 5 years, she's like a 15-year-old, and she keeps saying that to me. And she's like, oh mama, I'm so bored of your gigs, why don't you go, me and papa will stay at home. And that feels nicer that I constantly don't have to worry about how they're doing in the audience, because these events don't start on time and there's no specific time that they end. I need to
Right.
do the networking, collaboration after the event, so I don't have to worry about these things. There are times they come for the show.
She comes up on the stage.
Previously, she would come when I used to take her to most of my open mics. She would come to the stage and she'd be like, "Is it done now? Can we go? I need to go to the loo. Can you take me?" In
In the middle of the gig.
my husband was happily talking to somebody. She came on, and this was a solo show that I did this year. It was a 1 hour show, and she came to me. She said, "Oh, I'm very bored. Can you take me to the washroom? I also need to use the washroom." And I was finding for my husband where he is happily talking to his friends. Then on the mic, I had to call him, please, can you take her to the washroom? And I said, this is not a planned gig. This scene was not a part of the gig. Was so accepting. They didn't, they didn't hesitate to laugh or they didn't feel uncomfortable with the whole situation. It was for Women's Day and she got all her friends to the show.
So her friend must have called you cool mom, right? No?
5-year-olds don't understand stand-up comedy. They're like, ये तो कुछ तो बात करिए mic में. And they don't have that amount of patience or attention span to sit through 1 hour. Their moms have enjoyed, their parents have enjoyed. Because she called her friends, their parents also came, double the audience in my show. So I keep telling her, call all your friends so that their parents also come.
Nice. And recently you opened for Ashish Vidyarthi, right?
Yes.
How did it feel like? And how did it happen?
It feels so good. So most of these gigs where someone big is coming, and when they're traveling and when they do touring, we have opening spots where one comic comes and opens for about 10 minutes and then introduces main stand-up comic. Usually because it's all planned and it's already done by somebody who's opening for several times. This came because this was from a different platform and it's called the Entertainment Factory and they were looking for clean comics only. They messaged me and they said, would you be interested in opening for someone big? They didn't mention the name. I said, yes, I would be. And they said, it has to be clean. It has to be clean. I said, okay. And they went through my profile and everything and I got selected. There was this shortlisting process and then I got selected and it was very surreal. Like I couldn't believe I was opening and then they told me the name and then they told me the date and then they said it has to be clean and you would just have 10 minutes to perform. I couldn't believe it and I kept asking them, this is pakka happening? No, this is not canceling. No. Someone who's opening, you can't promote. It's the big surprise because I already performed in that venue already twice. So that setup was all very familiar to me. And I spoke to the owners of that setup and everything. I went little early. I prepped myself and then Ashish Vidyarthi sir came. So grounded, so humble. Their whole team was so humble. And then he just told me, I'm looking forward to your gig and just make it clean. I said, yes, मुझे उसके अलावा कुछ आता ही नहीं है करना. Then he laughed. And then I said, I'm doing musical comedy. He said, oh, is it? I'm looking forward. I've never heard something like that. I did my gig. The audience warmed up a little bit and they started to laugh. They also enjoyed the whole musical comedy. It was for 10 minutes. I think I included more than 5 songs. This whole gig, 10 minutes gig, was based on my summer holidays experience with my. I included that, and then I spoke about my in-laws coming home, and then I did a parody on Sabzi Mandi and how we've forgotten to go to a Sabzi Mandi and buy veggies. We just prefer on the on the app and things like that. I included a lot of elements, and then I opened for him, and then I invited him on stage. And then after his gig, he told me he's really liking this whole musical comedy and he appreciated that a lot. He said how I merged comedy into musical notes and everything. It's very nice. And he said, continue doing this. Don't ever listen to anybody who says, ye mat karo. Wow. If somebody's telling you ki musical comedy mat karo, don't ever listen to them. Continue because you make your own journey. And that stayed with me. Wow. Because as comics, this musical comedy is not very widely accepted, and I started to realize that of late. And I speak to other musical comedians who do this. For most comics, it looks like, Gana kyo gana? Why can't we do a regular script? So it is a little off, not widely accepted, like I told you. Okay. क्या कर पड़ता है हम लोग तो करेंगे जो Nice. मैं करती हूँ as long as it's not offensive. This is my USP, so I'm not to take it forward.
So the Sabji Mandi thing, what was the Sabji Mandi thing?
You remember the song चोर बाजारी दो नैनों की पहले की आदत जो हट गई. It's a very peppy, catchy song. Right. Like early 2010. That time it released and It's a very nice song. So I thought of a situation where we forgotten to borrow subsequently, and it all starts with we figuring out a situation on how to accommodate our daughter's summer vacation ka break. So we join her in a summer camp, and then this is the solution that my husband offers. And I didn't want solution number two, but the solution number two arrives. My in-laws arrive the next month. And because solution one to already take care हो चुका है, the minute they come, most in-laws, most parents when they come, they're like, तुम लोग ऐप से मंगवाते हो सब्जी सब्जी जाके खरीदते नहीं हो. That is so uncool for them, right? So they are like कि यहाँ पे सब्जी मंडी बगल में कौन सा है? And because we live in Hyderabad, my Bihari husband turned Hyderabadi so soon, and he said, "Mandi ho na, kya ho na? Egyptian mandi, girlfriend mandi, jail mandi, Hyderabadi mandi, Arabian Nights mandi. Kya ho na? Bolo miya." So mandi is that mandi biryani where several people can eat from the same big plate. And it's very common. You'll find at least 5 mandis on the road in any Hyderabadi gully that you enter. His sir pe ek tapli padi from his mom. Sabzi mandi kahan hai? And most of us don't know. They wanted to go to a sabzi mandi, and then my husband was like, "Mujhe to nahi pata. Let's go and explore." And then I started asking in the audience, when was the last time you went to a Raitu Bazaar that we call sabzi mandi here in Telugu, and went and got veggies? There were very few in the audience. And then I said, sabzi mandi ko jaane ki to aadat chhut gayi. I made that into a parody. सब्जी मंडी को जाने की पहले की आदत जो हट गई ब्लिंकिट ज़ेप्टो इंस्टामार्ट की दुगनी दुगनी आदत लग गई आलसीपन की फिक्र कहाँ थी उसकी भी अब चिंता घट गई. My husband goes, gets sabzis, and I'm like, तू भी तू है मैं भी मैं हूँ आलस है हम दोनों समझ गए सब्जी सारे ले तो आए आना अब तू स्विगी कर ले नोटिफाई जो करता है जोमेटो से मंगवाता हूँ. So I turned that into this, and I also extended this by saying that Zomato is like kabhi sautan kabhi saheli for me. Kabhi Saheli for the obvious reasons, and Kabhi Sautan because she sends very lovey-dovey text to my husband. जी सुनते हो चाय पी लिया oh you can't have a late lunch what plans for dinner इतने सारे sweet messages तो मैं भी नहीं भेजती. So सब्जी मंदी.
That's beautiful. So you got a lot of awards, right? The Sri Shakti Award, the She Inspires Award, the Women of Impact Award. How does it feel when you get all these awards?
First of all, I didn't think there was any forum that would give awards to stand-up comedians. This is completely new. And it was not just for stand-up comedians. They were inviting women across different genres, different fortes, whatever that you were doing. If you think you're doing good, you think you have a story you wanted to share with us, go ahead, share. And in this age, I feel you have to be your own cheerleader. You have to speak for yourself. You have to promote yourself. You have to take every opportunity to promote yourself. A lot of them can misinterpret this as bragging, and I call it humble bragging. Until unless you don't tell people that you started a podcast, I mean, how will they know? The very few people zaruri hai. Because until unless you're not widely known, people will not go to your Instagram account, your LinkedIn account. So I took that as a chance to put myself on the map. Very few in Telangana, in my state, there are very few stand-up comics. And female में तो ज़्यादा बहुत कम. I want to put myself on the map, and I wanted to tell people that this is what I do. And I have a story, and I have this journey. And why I'm sharing this journey with you is motherhood is not the end of your whole career and your life. If you still want to pursue at a certain age, you can still do it. You have multiple opportunities. You just need to know how to channelize it Go out there, be yourself, and consistently try for it. So this was my whole intent, and there was a whole shortlisting process for all these awards, especially the Stree Shakti Award, because it's organized by the government of Telangana. It's supported by the government of Telangana, and we have a chamber for events industry, which is very rare. I don't think there is any other state that has this chamber. It's called Telangana Chamber of Event Industry, TCEI, and I do these awards every year. They're very prestigious. They had a very rigorous shortlisting process where we had to send in our profile, send in a video, and after that, there was an interview panel where you had to wait for a long time for your 5 minute turn to come in. And you had to prove yourself. Most of them would have done the usual presentation or spoken about themselves. I didn't know what to do. I just went unprepared. I said, okay, fine. I think you, the judges out there, I said, you have interviewed so many back to back. Now think of this 5 minute as a break. Sit back, relax, and I will do a stand up gig for you. I did that. They laughed and they selected me. And that award night and the night where I met a lot of women and I met an IAS officer, a woman IAS officer, and I told her I'm a stand-up comic, and she just stared at me. She said, I didn't know there was a female stand-up comedy in Hyderabad. And I hope I get connected to her again. And she said, I want you to perform at so and so, place, and I will get in touch with you, which has not yet happened, but I'm waiting for that, where I can make a difference to a wider audience for social causes, which is even more important.
Touching on social causes, you talked about periods on the World Menstrual Hygiene Day twice. So, what is the story behind that?
Because I wanted to make a difference with my stand up comedy, and that instinct came in me after that first opportunity came to me. One of the organizers for that event, the host for that event, Kiran, she reached out to me and she said, will you be willing to do a stand up comedy on periods? And I said, ऐसा कौन करता है? She said, भी आप करो. You'll get 5 to 10 minutes. आप करो. It's for World Menstrual Hygiene. I still was not sure whether I could do it because this is last year when I just started to do gigs. That day morning, my college also invited me for an event where I had to do stand up comedy. And that was also very big for me. My college inviting me as a speaker, and it was like a full circle moment for me. And I finished that and I quickly went to this gig. And then they said there's going to be a lot of media in the room. And I saw there was nobody was with so many cameras and things like that. I think media was there in the room, but they had their own laptops and making notes. It was not the whole media setup that I thought I would see. There were so many dignitaries in the room for the World Menstrual Hygiene Day. We have Telangana State Innovation Cell, and so many of entrepreneurs who were proposing their ideas for sanitation and improvement and things like that. There was so much happening on a very serious note, like panel discussion, doctors coming, talking, and things like that. And then comes my stand up. And I went ahead with one thought that I will talk on this. And then I entered the room, I see 60% of them were young men, which I didn't expect. And they were talking very openly about periods. They were like, if my girlfriend has this problem, how should I help her? And I was like, wow, we have such an open audience. And I changed my script. On the spot, I changed. I just went ahead with what I thought was correct for that moment. I didn't think twice. I thought I should talk about my experiences of periods, what a usual Telugu household would experience. A lot of them connected. And I did a lot of crowd work during that 5-10 minutes. Wow. How much ever was possible, they all connected. And the doctors and media, whoever attended that event, they later came to me and they were talking to me so much. They said, we loved your gig. We didn't expect this. We thought it will be joke. But it was very different. And it gave me a confidence. So that day I decided that if I can take this to the next level and share a social message or any message through comedy, through my storytelling, through my stand-up comedy, I can make a difference on a very different level. Not all the time I can pick social issues, and I've had the opportunity to do World Menstrual Hygiene Day event again for the second time this May. They were very kind to invite me, and I told them I think I will be your stand-up comic for the next upcoming 10 years or whenever you want me to, because this is what I love doing. And this time I did a musicals comedy bit on What a Girl's Face. I told that this is that Saheli that you want to meet, don't want to meet, you have a very on and off relationship with this Saheli. And बहुत पहेली की तरह आपकी जिंदगी में आती है करके I did a musical comedy. It was good. And I also ensure that at the end of my gig, I share one message. It can be related to the script, not related to the script. Sometimes during the events, a lot of audience, especially very young, they're probably getting a call from the parents. They don't want to disturb the whole mood, and they are, cutting the call. And I
Okay.
ask them, is that your mom calling? They're like, huh. And then, it's okay, call, talk, it's okay. How much will that take? Or send her a message that you are in a show, you'll be back, and things like that. And all that you realize after becoming a mom, after becoming a parent, miss calls from your parents and do something that your parents are not expecting, like give your mom a flower, and it'll mean a lot to them. Sometimes they take it nicely, and sometimes I've seen them audiences different kinds, like especially Gen Z audience. Sometimes this so friendly Gen Z audience is coming to you, listening to you so intently. Especially, you can't blame them; they have limited attention span because they grew up in a world with devices. It's unlike us. Sometimes they really want to be in the moment and listen to you away from phones and things like that. And there's so much to learn from them as well because they're giving so much importance to mental health, which we didn't know we should.
True.
So things like
That's beautiful. And like you said, that, your comedy carries a message, and this is a very, very powerful message. And you also featured in newspapers for this, right?
for World Menstrual Hygiene Day event, after that I featured in newspapers and radio shows. And
Wow.
after the awards, Humans of Hyderabad happened, and they wanted to do a story, and it was a very mutual collaboration that happened. I also wanted them to collaborate with them. Happened at the same time, at the right time. They were patient enough to listen to me for 1 hour and draft a 3-page story. And that was a big moment for me because I keep following official humans of Bombay, official humans
Okay.
of Hyderabad. And when I thought, if my story makes a difference to at least one person, one woman out there thinking, I can do this, or I want to take up a hobby, not sure how, not sure when. I'll wait for my kids to grow up a little bit. Wanted to break that barrier. Then People of Telangana, there was another web page, People of Telangana. They wanted to do a video with my
Okay.
gigs. Then a series of podcasts happened on digital TV in all
Wow.
Telugu channels.
Okay.
That was a game changer for me, and I've never been in, an in-person podcast room. We've done a podcast for about 2 hours once. That was my first podcast. It was so good, and it uplifted me, on a different scale. I didn't know I could talk so much sense into it. I didn't know what I was blabbering also. I kept checking with the director, is this okay? Is this going a little overboard? Because most podcasts, when they happen, right, nobody wants to cut you because it breaks the flow. They just keep recording, recording, recording. And then that followed with two other big channel
Wow.
podcasts that I did not expect. And one was I Dream South States is like I followed every interview of them. They usually interview celebrities, TV, media professional, and highly celebrated in their genre, like doctors or engineers or real estate or
Right.
politicians in their specific field. I did not expect a call from them, and when that happened, I was like, "Oh my god, I'm not losing on this."
Wow. No,
And
that's
that was
really beautiful, right? In the sense that you said that you started only in 2023 September, right? And
2023 Feb. Huh.
okay, and
Fine.
it's 2025. So in just such short span of time, you've got so many awards. You're featured on news channels, you're featured in newspapers, you've got So famous. How does it feel like?
Same time when I go outside the house, nobody recognizes me also.
Oh, is that the case?
And nobody recognizes me.
Okay.
Because it feels nice. I'm not going to take that away. It feels really nice because sometimes it's very unreal that, is this happening for real? But at the same time, I want that to translate into something. I want more audience in the show. I want more people to
Right.
appreciate clean comedy. There's so many of us who are just sitting at home watching TV on weekends and not attending shows or not attending shows of some small time artists like me. They are attending big time artists who are very famous. Even I want to attend their shows. I think it's high time that people also give small time artists a chance. And because my show is something that you don't have to think twice, you can get your family, you can get people across all age groups and be seated there and have fun for about 1 hour because everybody is going to relate. Why actually started this because I wanted to make this accessible for all age groups.
Beautiful.
To show in like a 2000 seater or 1,000 seater, and the whole audience is filled. So manifesting that.
I really hope you get that. And I'm sure you'll get that. You have beautiful comedy. I mean, whatever you told in this podcast, it's really, really beautiful. And I loved it. I'm sure everybody
Thank,
must love it.
thank you so
So,
much.
you are a mom, you pivoted into a startup comedy alongside your job. Within all the hustle and bustle, you're still able to keep your sanity. What is the reason behind that?
Something to do, make a difference, pursuing passion.
A message to all the women out there, who are in the same zone as you, like, juggling with multiple things and still trying to achieve something of their own.
I won't lie, and I'm sure this applies to you as well. Sometimes you lose your sanity, right? Because you're curating multiple things, you're hustling multiple roles. Even as a podcast host, you're doing so much. You are editing, you are again, and the parallelly, you're getting dates from the next podcast, interviewing person, and figuring out the technicalities of it. There are times, yes, you lose sanity and you want to delegate this to somebody. Like I create my own posters sometimes and I'm pitching for myself for various shows. I go out there, pitch in person, I do that on phone, and I'm talking to multiple people to have me on their show, on their cafe, in their platform, in their community. It is difficult. And at the same time, you're also promoting this, which is the most difficult part because you need those ticket sales happening. That's the whole crux of it, which is the most difficult part. And also doing your job. There are times when you feel lost, there are times when you're thinking this is, oh my God. And there are times because not every time you make money. Sometimes you just make fame and not money. Instance, me, I'm not making much money out of the stand-up comedy gigs. But I'm glad I have a full-time job that takes care of the money part so that I can invest myself in this, thinking, I'm not expecting much money out of this. I have that mindset. I'm not
Right.
struggling in terms of finances. And life happens. Like kids, young kids, especially parents of young kids, you always need to be on the roll. You always are on your feet. And then your
Right.
office debt happen. Planning makes a lot of difference, but at the same time, all plans don't work. And something that has worked for me is if something is not working at this moment, don't think that that is the end of the whole thing. If a show at a cafe or if a show at a particular venue that you've been fighting for, you've been wanting to do it, has not happened, has cancelled at the last minute, don't worry. Try for it again. Keep trying. One thing, if I had to say to all women out there, be consistent in your approach. And if you want to take a break, yes, for your own sanity, take a break. But do come back and keep trying because things don't magically work out overnight, right? Because there's so much hustle that keeps happening. Once you that long break and you have to get back at it, that is the most difficult part,
True.
isn't it? So keep doing it consistently and consistently try different approaches. Create that space for you and at the same time pitch in at those communities you think they value it. That is most important. Then if you think this is the right opportunity for me and I'm not there yet, maybe next year I'll try. What's the harm in trying now? Don't think
Right.
twice. And I think most people are very humble. If you go out and pitch in the right way, at least they will listen to you.
Right.
Getting a no response also is a response.
Right.
It's okay if they're saying no, this cannot happen. Most of them are not blunt. They will not be blunt and say, "Oh, how dare you reach out to us?" You've tried your best. They will feel
Right.
happy that you've tried. I'm telling you, Swati, there was so many occasions where I reached out to so many big celebrities, just congratulating them on their success because I genuinely feel like Ayush Shraddha, the Shraddha Jain comic,
Okay.
mostly known as Ayush Shraddha. I admire her a lot. Like, she is one of my role models, and she's doing so many shows right now. And I messaged her a year ago that I'm your biggest fan. I saw your Hyderabad show, and one day I would love to open for you or things like that. I'm also stand-up comic, and
Right.
she responded to me after a year,
Wow.
and she said, "Next time if you're having a gig in Hyderabad and whenever I'm doing a show, I will attend it." She's doing a show on 27th. I'm
Wow.
attending her show, and I have a show on 26th. And I messaged her, "I'm doing a show on 26th. I'm not sure if you can attend that." Then she said, "Oh, I'm doing a show on the same. I would love to watch you." But that's still a response, right? There's somebody
Right.
looking out for you. And I told her, "No worries. If I can get that 2 minutes to meet you in person, that itself is a big moment for me." And things like that have uplifted me. I hope it uplifts everyone. Don't think twice, just do it.
Just
Now
do
is the
it.
right time.
Now is the right time. Just do it. That's beautiful. So, how would you like to end it? Is there any favorite gig?
Actually, I'm looking forward to my upcoming gig, which is one of my biggest gigs now. It's happening this Sunday, and it's happening at Experience Broadway store. And last week, Sunday, I walked into the store with my posters all over the screens, and it felt surreal. I felt like I was on cloud nine. And then immediately my daughter said, "Why are we here?" "Yeah, to see your posters. I see you at home. I'm looking at you right now. Why are we wasting our Sunday being here?" Immediately she kept me grounded. Zyada uchal mat. It's like meri billi mere ko meow, meri beti mere ko meow. And my husband was like, he was feeling so shy to take my picture. He was like, everybody is looking. Why? They're thinking, why is this lady taking a picture with the posters? Later, they realize, okay, she's the same comic and things like that. And everybody is so reserved. Nobody came up to me or asked, "Are you doing the show?" or things like that. And my most favorite musical comedy, this is not a parody, but this is like how my husband and I talk to each other. Yeah. Because I want to talk a lot. And after me talking, he will be like, "Kuch na kaho, kuch bhi na kaho." And I'm like, "Saif Ali Khan, dil chahta hai. अरे लेकिन मैं मगर वो सुनो तो." And he's saying, "क्या कहना है, क्या सुनना है." Then तुझे कुछ नहीं पता, तुझे मेरी बात सुननी ही पड़ेगी. Like, मुझको पता है, तुमको पता है. But we all wives now, we want them to say this instead of that. तूने जो ना कहा, मैं वो सुनता रहा. But at the same time, we want them to realize this. खामोखा बेवजह ख्वाब बुनता रहा. And me being me, I'm an extrovert and my husband is very introvert. And sometimes I look at him and I'm thinking, "तू होगा जरा पागल, तूने मुझको है चुना. कैसे तूने आने कहा सा सुना." But he's actually thinking this about me, कि सोचती है ज्यादा, कम वो समझती है, दिल कुछ कहता है, कुछ और ही करती है. बट मैं अपने ख्वाबों की दुनिया में होती हूँ, तो आई थिंक ही थिंक्स दिस अबाउट मी. तुम हो कमाल, तुम बेमिसाल, तुम लाजवाब हो सुषमा. ऐसी हसीन हो जिसको छू लो उसको हसीन कर दो. I'm just saying this to myself. मगर सुषमा वो भी तो ऐसा सोचे. back to back musical comedy that I've.
That's really wonderful. You have beautiful voice. You write beautifully. You have beautiful comedy. You're a beautiful comic. I see your poster with the hat and that look. That is really wonderful. And I hope you get all the success, all the power, money, fame, everything, and you grow and achieve greater heights. All the best.
So much, Swati, and same to you as well. And I am so proud of what you're doing. And podcasting and hosting is not an easy job. You have to curate all the questions, you have to go through their story, ask the right questions, and link the first question to the upcoming questions. I feel you're doing a wonderful job. And may you also reach more and more successes in whatever you're doing, and keep doing this. And more power to you.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Sushma, for accepting my invite and for being here.
Most welcome. My pleasure.